The regular season is drawing to a close in the Big Ten. The regular season championship has been wrapped up by the University of Michigan, but there's still unfinished business. They'd like to win as many games as possible and keep the good time rolling. They finish off with a chance to sweep arch rival Michigan State on Sunday at home, but tonight the Wolverines go on the road to face a somewhat desperate basketball team, the Iowa Hawkeyes. As we welcome you to this college basketball watch-along. Number 3 Michigan taking on 20-9 Iowa, who needs a win against a team like Michigan just to 100% nail down an NCAA tournament bid. So it's Cadeau, Burnett, Johnson, Lindenberg, and Mara for Michigan. Sturtz, Combs, Banks, Cook, and Manawu, the starting 5 for the Hawkeyes. At 20-9, but they do have a couple of black eye losses to Maryland and Penn State. So now, how will everything work out? As we get set for this monster matchup here, Michigan and Iowa. Seth Eaves, happy to have you with us here. Number 3 team in the land on the road in conference play one more time to take on Iowa. Michigan in blue, Iowa in white. And away we go. The tip controlled by the visitors from Ann Arbor at 27-2, 17-1 in the Big Ten. Here's Elliot Cadeau. Mara, more on why he's going to get more minutes and will need to play a bigger role come March as Lindenberg hits a 3, the leading scorer on the team to get the party started for Michigan. And it's 3-0, coming off a 16.7 rebound performance in their last game 6 days ago, an impressive win at Illinois. Here is Manawu for Iowa. Now gives it to Sturtz. Sturtz now finds Combs. Combs. 6 on the shot clock for Iowa. Here's Sturtz. Sturtz, step back 3 is off the mark, no good. And Cadeau grabs the rebound. Mara inside, no good. The foul though on Banks, Tavian Banks of Iowa. Sturtz now finds Manawu. Banks. Sturtz. Manawu inside, rejected. 7 seconds left. Iowa still has possession. They've got to go, though. Down to 4. Down to 3. Sturtz puts it up. No good. Ball tipped around. Loose, and Michigan has picked it up, and now here come the Wolverines. Ball goes out of bounds. I mentioned Elliot Cadeau. He gets plenty of minutes. He's going to need to step up more because Michigan's had very few negatives come out of this season, but one that came out of their win against, this was a violation of Illinois, the torn ACL for L.J. Kaysen, their point guard, who averages 8 points a game. A key leader on the team, gone for the rest of the season. Here's Iowa for 3, and finally one goes. Cooper Cook knocks one down. And so it's 3 apiece early in this one. Iowa's 6th best three-point shooting team in the Big Ten. Namari Burnett now over to Lindenberg. Lindenberg with 16. Trying to meander. Lindenberg now finds Johnson. Here is Morris Johnson Jr. Ball tipped. And a steal, Iowa with Cook. Look out! Oh! What a slam! Banks over Lindenberg. That'll get the crowd going. Here's Johnson on the right wing. Now back to Lindenberg. Lindeborg now finds Cadeau. Cadeau now to Johnson. 9 to shoot. Johnson right wing. Burnett. Mara. Burnett. Oh, blocked! Manawu the block in. It goes out of bounds. It'll still be Michigan ball. But they're only going to have 3 seconds to operate on the shot clock. Here's the inbounds. Burnett, 1 second. Burnett just has to hoist up a prayer off the mark, and that did not hit the rim. That's a shot clock violation, and that'll be Iowa basketball. Only regular season meeting between Michigan and Iowa. Iowa the best defense in the Big Ten in terms of scoring. They only give up 65 a game. 11th in D1, a stark contrast from the Fran McCaffrey years. That scored a lot, but also gave up a lot. Oh, good pass, Sturtz. Trying to bait the defender into a foul with Coons. He got fouled, but he'll go to the he missed, but he'll go to the line, where he is an 89% free throw shooter. Michigan, of course, already the outright Big Ten champions. They clinched that Friday. This is the 7th game in the last 10 that Michigan's playing a true road game. And Combs gets the first one to go. Second one also good, and Iowa up 4 in this Carver Hawkeye crowd. Is now into full effect. Oh, good. Oh, my gosh. I thought Mara was just going to put it up. No, Mara with the oop off the alley. 7-5 Iowa on top. Combs now over to Manawu. Banks driving, no. Rebound picked it by Mara. Now Lindeborg runs the floor for Michigan. Cadeau. Cadeau now over to Mara. Mara stripped. Here comes Iowa. Manawu, long pass, starts. Burnett. And I think he walked. Either that or an offensive foul. Either way, they'll go to a national break with 15:51 to go in the first. A stoppage, 7-5. The lead for Iowa. First, you think about Michigan, you think about Dusty May and the job that he's done this season. It's just been utterly remarkable. The 54 wins in his second year, that's already the most by a coach in a 2-year stretch in Michigan history. Iowa up 7-5. Iowa 20-9, 10-8 in the Big Ten. Have kind of played themselves maybe to a somewhat of a bubble situation because of a bad loss to Penn State. You look at the Iowa resume, the wins, they've beaten some teams around them. They beat UCLA, they've beaten Indiana. They've also beaten USC. They had the big win that came a few weeks ago against Nebraska. They also beat Ohio State, but they had that loss to Penn State and a loss to Maryland, which looms as not exactly the prettiest one. They also have a loss at Minnesota. A win tonight against Michigan at home would surely quash any doubts of Iowa's NCAA tournament standing. 169th time these two have met. Michigan with 100 wins, 68 the Hawkeyes. So 168 Michigan. However, in Iowa City, it's a 43-40 series lead for Iowa. The last meeting was back December of 2024. It was last season, an 85-83 Michigan win. Michigan with 5 turnovers so far in this opening half. So Dusty May has to get some stuff straightened out as we're getting ready to come out of this break. Seven 5 Iowa. Of course, we talked about Dusty May. Pretty solid head coach on the Iowa side of things, too. Ben McCullum in his first year drew a great run at Drake. And a solid run at the Division II level at Northwest Missouri State. Apparently there's a clock issue here. Starts a 4-time national champion with Northwest Missouri State. So apparently there is an issue with the clock inside the arena. Now they've got it rectified. Looks like the crowd's appreciative and we're ready to go play some more basketball. A 7-5 Iowa lead. And so here we go. Anawau now finds Alvaro Fogareas. Now back over to Sturts. Sturts trying to go left block. Now over to Combs. Now back to Sturts. 8 to shoot. This is Sturts. Fogareas. Inside it goes. 3 to shoot. Reverse layup is good by Anawau. And Iowa adds 2 more to the total. 9-5, Iowa on top. Really going in this one. Here is Cadeau on the right wing. Cadeau, wraparound pass. Gale nearly lost it. Now over to Lindeberg. 10 on the shot clock. 6 to shoot. Now here's Johnson. Now Burnett. 2 to shoot. Burnett with 1. Burnett's got to put it up with 1 on the timer. Again, it's off the mark, and again, it's a shot clock violation. Boy, Iowa playing some real smothering defense. 6 Michigan turnovers in less than 6 minutes of game time. An uncharacteristic slow start. Maybe not an uncharacteristic slow start. It is a Michigan team that does get better as games progress. As those of you that are watching this stream and those of you that follow Michigan are well aware of. Anawau now back to Combs. Combs down. Anawau top of the key. 10 to shoot. Bounce over to Sturts. Sturts with 6 of the timer. Sturts now gives it to Anawau. Anawau with some room. He dives inside. He scores. Great move. That's 2 points for Anawau. The Iowa lead is down at a half dozen. 11-5 early in this one. Here's Trey McKinney. Gives it now to Cadeau. Cadeau is fouled. Anawau is the one that commits the foul. So off the inbounds pass. Here's McKinney on the left block. McKinney starts on him. It's a bit of a size mismatch. McKinney, turnaround jump shot, falls. 4-point lead for the Hawkeyes. McKinney averages 10 points a game and gets the basket there. Here is Iowa with Combs. Combs and tipped and a turnover. Here comes Michigan. Wolverines now on the run. all the way, and missing the layup was Gale. Iowa now running it the other way. Manitou spins in the lane, blocked from behind by Johnson. Are they going to call that a goaltend? I believe they are. Yes, count the bucket there. Goaltending on Morez Johnson Jr. 6-point lead. It's Iowa up by 6 in this one, and now we have another foul. Stoppage here away from the ball. It could do now getting some help. Michigan can ill afford another significant injury to a guard. Cadeau averages 12 points at 6 rebounds a game. Again, formerly played his collegiate ball at the University of North Carolina. And Cadeau now back and good to go. So off the inbounds pass. Michigan just 2 points in the last 3 minutes plus. McKinney now over to Cadeau. 14 to shoot. Cadeau in trouble. Ball loose. Ball still loose. Picked up by Manitou for Iowa. Sturt's now at the floor. Iowa third in the Big Ten in steals per game at 7.1 on average. Comes down to Manitou. Manitou now with 15. Manitou now flips it over to Sturts. Sturts with 9. Manitou back to Sturts. Sturts long 2. No good. Rebound by Michigan and Roddy Gale. Gale now pushes it up to McKinney. McKinney now will get back over to Lindeborg. Lindeborg now over to Mara. Mara on the right block. 17 on the timer. Oh, nice spin by Mara. Oh, he stepped out of bounds. Heel was on the inline. And another Michigan turnover. Six-point Iowa lead, 12:29 to play first half. Combs now with it for the Hawkeyes. Combs with 12 on the timer. Combs misses the runner, and Michigan has it going the other way. Gale. Gale attacks and scores. Good work by Roddy Gale. And Iowa's going to take a timeout here, I believe. Yep, timeout for Iowa. So it's a 13-9 lead for the Hawkeyes. 11:59 to play in the first. Again, at the moment, yeah, pretty good at the tournament. They're pretty safe for now, but you don't want to risk issues happening. You don't want to risk going into the tournament or racking up enough losses to where the committee may question you on Selection Sunday. And you get a marquee win against Michigan, you got to think that would probably overcome those 2 bad losses you have and probably be enough to get Iowa in the field. (13-9) Iowa. But you look at this team, against a lot of things going on with this Michigan team, and you hope that it will be a smooth. If you're a Michigan fan, you hope everything will still be smooth for the tournament. But senior night, it's proven to be a bit of a rough one so far for Michigan on the road, playing a determined team on senior night. Dirk Banks and Brendan Housen, the three that were honored, by the way, tonight as senior night honorees. About to come out of the under 12 timeout with Iowa leading Michigan by 4. So now here is Iowa with Sturt, with Combs. Now Fulgeraeus trying to knife in. Good move. Oh, what a block by Mara. It came right back to Sturts, though. Cook straight away, 3 in and out. Now Michigan with Gale. Gale now over to Lindeborg. McKinney, and we have a whistle here that's going to stop play. Mara leads the Big Ten in blocks per game and is 4th nationally, and a big one right there. Here's Lindeborg now over to McKinney. 17 to shoot as Herky chops it up with fans behind the Iowa bench. McKinney, no. And going to be Iowa basketball. Going to be another Michigan turnover. Four-point game, 11-19 to play in the first. Lindeberg now goes to the bench. Banks goes to the bench for Iowa. Michigan 14 from the field, and Iowa 5 of 13. Combs now over to Sturts. Bounce pass to Fulgeraeus. Kick out. Howard now over to Combs. 13 to shoot. Sturts. Fulgeraeus a 3. No. Rebound gathered in by Michigan. Will Shetter. Shetter, who's into the game, got the board. McKinney now over to Cadeau. Back to McKinney. Left wing 3. Good. Trey McKinney knocks one down for the left wing, and Michigan's back to within 1. Iowa now has suddenly gone cold. They have not scored in nearly 3 minutes. Holmes now to Sturts. Sturts now over to Combs. Combs on the right wing. Combs over to Cook. Now it's Howard for 3. A high arcer, no good, and Shetter with the rebound. Gale, now on the right wing, it's Roddy Gale. Gale attacks and scores, and Michigan has the lead. Good work by Roddy Gale. Halfway through the first half, Michigan back on top. Now, Sturts. Sturts hits the accelerator. Sturts scores. Great move by Bennett Sturts, and Iowa leads. Sturts had 16 points in that loss to Penn State Saturday. McKinney now over to Cadeau at the top of the key. Cadeau works off a Mara screen. No real switch, though. McKinney in the lane. Gets it back to Cadeau. 13 to shoot. Cadeau now drives into the paint. Cadeau layup is off the mark. No good. Ball tapped around into the hands of Sturts. Sturts now will slow it down just a little bit. It's Sturts. Sturts now trying to get Sturts a push off and a foul on Cadeau. Thought maybe it was a push-up, but they're going to call the foul on Cadeau. Bennett Sturts, how important is he to Iowa's success? How much do they depend on him? In the last 11 games, he has sat for a grand total of 3 minutes. Yeah, I think that's letting someone have trust in you and carry your team. Sturts right wing. His jersey got pulled there. Sturts gonna pull for 3. In and out. Rebound, Michigan. Now here is McKinney. McKinney on the left wing, high post. McKinney now lob to Johnson. Johnson on the left block. Guarded by Manawu. Now Cadeau, 9 on the timer. Cadeau drive, boy, like he walked. They don't call it, though. Cadeau scores, and Michigan retakes the lead. Holmes spins and gets fouled. And second personal on Cadeau. I have a break here, I believe, for something. I think it's an official review here with 8:11 to play. First half, referee immediately tells both benches, get out of the way and let us work. So 16-15, Michigan the score with 8:11 to play first half. Glad you're with us on this college basketball watch along. Of course, this is the first game Michigan's played since LJ Cason's season-ending torn ACL. That was suffered in the Illinois game, in their last game on Friday. And Iowa trying to come off a bad loss to Penn State. So we wait here for the we'll be resuming action shortly. Michigan, of course, trying to continue their just amazing year. Only 2 losses in January at Wisconsin, and then just a few weeks ago in that amazing neutral site game against Duke. Michigan right now amongst the favorites to win the whole shooting match. But it'll be interesting to see how they react to this Cason injury tonight, the first game without him. He averages 19 minutes and 8 points a game. But it's a leadership injury, and it means that more players like Cadeau are going to have to step up. Next man up mentality. Free throw for Combs is good as we resume action. 89% free throw shooter. Junior from Nixa, Missouri. Makes the second, and Iowa's back on top by a point. Michigan has not been to the free throw line yet in this game. Iowa has been 4 times. They've made all 4. It's Lindeborg. Now McKinney. Johnson. Lindeborg. Cadeau. And a foul away from the ball. Foul on Banks. That's his second. Inbounds past McKinney. Now finds Johnson. Lindeborg. 11 to shoot. Lindeborg. Iowa fans wanted to walk so to the bench. Cadeau, all out of control, and now a foul there. 15 foul, but the capacity crowd at Carver Hawkeye Arena wanted to walk on Lindeborg, and they might have had a case. Combs picks up his second personal. 1 point Iowa lead inside of 8 minutes to play in the first half. Cadeau to inbound after the foul. Here, little give and go. It goes back to Cadeau. The paint. Cadeau in traffic, and Cadeau's foul. .733 first half. Iowa looking for this big-time win. Again, up by a point as you see the score on the upper left part of your screen. Top left corner of your screen. First free throw good by Cadeau, the junior from West Orange, New Jersey. Averaging 10 points a game this year. Played and started in 29 games for Michigan this season. Makes the second free throw. And Michigan now up by 1. Fluent in Swedish, even played for the Swedish national team. So that's awesome stuff right there. We love giving you these kind of nuggets on a Ultimate Sports Media watch-along. Iowa 4 points in the last 6+ minutes. Isaiah Howard. Now here's Sturtz. Sturtz kicks it back out to Sage. Sage kicks it back to Sturtz right wing. Sturtz puts up a 3 with 4 on the timer. Rims out no good. Rebound Michigan Johnson. Now here's Lindeborg. Inside Mara and a foul. And that should send the big man to the free throw line. From Zaragoza, Spain, Ade Mara. Did a shooting foul? I guess the only question there. May 52% free throw. Mara 50% free throw was not a shooting foul. Here's a catch and shoot 3 for Burnett. That's no good. Rebound though by Lindeborg. Kick out Johnson, a left wing 3. That one's good. Morez Johnson Jr. with a 3. And Michigan up by 4. Now here is Sturtz for Iowa. Sturtz now dribbling the basketball. Sturtz over to the right wing. Sturtz, runner. No good. Rebound, Mara. Oh, Mara lost it and went right into the hands of Manawu. 2 points for him. Now Cadeau. At the underside of the basket. Rebounded by Sturtz. Fogareus, left corner 3. That one didn't drop. Now Johnson. Lindeborg. Cadeau now with 12 to shoot. Oh, Cadeau slipped. He slipped. Starts the rebound. Outlet pass. Missed Dunk Howard. Michigan has it back the other way with Burnett. Johnson now back to Burnett. Mara on the right wing. Next foul by the way would mean free throws for Michigan, and it hits off the knee of Johnson. And we'll go back with Iowa. 5:26 to go in the first half. Man. Not sure what's going on here. Oh, is this a media timeout? We're ready to run another play. I didn't think this was a media timeout. That's interesting. Oh, okay. All right, so 21-19. Michigan is our score. And apparently, the feed hit a commercial break because I didn't think that was a media timeout. So apparently, we've gone to break and have missed action. It's now 23-21 Michigan. That's great work, Peacock. And people want to pay a bunch of money. You want to pay a bunch of money to stream your games and pull off stuff like this. Of course, I got NBCSN on the TV, but Lord have mercy. I mean, that's pretty pathetic that you would allow that to happen. I mean, that's... They cut to a commercial for no reason, but Michigan 23-21. So when I get a feedback, I'll bring you the action. But at the present time, hard to call a game when I can't bring you any feed. All right, now they have resumed play with fourth. Now we have a feed again with 4:34. To play in the first half. Michigan, a team that ranks first in the Big Ten in a lot of categories. Here comes Iowa. Down by 2. Good pass inside. Manawu missed the layup. Rebound Michigan, Burnett. On the right wing. Here's Burnett. Gale with the basketball now. Gale. And mistake, turnover. Here comes Iowa. Underneath. Oh, Fulgaris with a nice little move. Howard in the lane. No. Manawu got it back. Now here is Alvaro Fulgaris. Fulgaris now back to Sturts to the right wing. 9 to shoot. Sturts for 3 in the lead. It's no good. Rebound, Michigan and Yale. Gale now over to Mara. Now Burnett for 3. That one's good. A 3 ball for Namari Burnett. Michigan up by 5. Sturts now over to Sage. Iowa just 2 points in the last 3:13. Sturts from the left wing for 3. In and out. Halfway down, it spun out. Lindeberg with a save on the rebound. Now Gale up the floor for Michigan. Iowa just 1 of 12 for 3. Michigan 4 of 7. Cheddar had it briefly, lost it. And I believe he stepped out of bounds. And now, freezing up again. All right, we got it cleared. All right, 2:52 to go in the first. The things we do to bring you these live broadcasts, these live watch-alongs, I'm sorry. 26-21 is the lead for Michigan. Again, coming up at halftime after we cut our mics off for a little bit, we're going to get you caught up on what else is happening across the country. A lot going on. We'll update you on the other top 25 game tonight that involves a Big Ten opponent. Happens to be Michigan's opponent on Sunday. And then we'll get you caught up on what's happening in men's and women's conference tournaments. A lot happening across the nation on that end. Here a 26-21 lead for Michigan with 2:52 to play in the first half. So 26-21 is the lead for Michigan as they're about to come out of a under 4 timeout. And again, you think about Michigan, you think about a smooth operating team, but that has not been the case here tonight. Yes, they're up by 5. Perhaps it says something about how good they really are when they can play they can play not at the best level and yet still be up 5 on the road against a conference opponent who's won 10 Big Ten games, who's won 20 on the season. Up by 5 despite the turnovers, but then again, if you've been following Michigan all season long, you are very much aware that this is how they operate. Here's Howard. Now over to Manawu. Manawu, the kick. Oh, good extra pass. Sage straight away. 3. Cans it. Just the second made 3 for Iowa in this first half. Cuts it to 2. Here's Roddy Gale up the floor for Michigan. Gale now over to Johnson. Johnson now finds Lindeborg. Lindeborg with 13 to shoot. Lindeborg with 10. Now back to Johnson. Lindeborg with 6. Lindeborg on a drive. It scores. Great finish by Yaxel. And Michigan's lead down at 4 with 2 minutes to go. 5 for the UAB transfer. Howard now with it for Iowa. Howard now stopping. Wants help. Gets it in the form of Manawu. 13 to shoot. Manawu now will give it up to Cook. Sage now over to Manawu. Manawu now over to Sage. Now Manawu with 3 to shoot. Manawu knifes in. No. Rebound. Michigan. Johnson. Now Lindeborg up the floor. Oh, great pass underneath. Burnett missed the layup. Ball tapped around into the hands of Manawu. Iowa Again on a scoring drought, a minute 18 without a point. Cook in the left corner, now back to Manilow. Still down by 4. This is Sturts now. 14 on the timer. Sturts on the wing. Sturts with 11. Sturts a 3. High arcer that goes for Bennett Sturts. Iowa within 1. Sturts 2.48 3-pointers per game. 7th of the Big Ten. The Iowa bench tells the crowd to get on their feet, and the crowd obliges. Gale, Shetter for 3, and the big man in and out. Anawoo with a rebound. Iowa going for the lead this time down. 6-2 Hawkeye run. Sturts pulls and hits. Back-to-back threes for Bennett Sturts. And Iowa has the lead with less than 30 seconds to play in the first half. And timeout taken by Dusty May. Bennett Sturts. Knocking down a back-to-back triples in an Iowa team who has struggled from 3 for a vast majority of this first half. It's now starting to find some action here at the end of the first half. So Iowa up by 2 with 22 seconds to play in the opening half. Up the floor, Michigan. Here is Cadeau. Cadeau, 14 to go. Cadeau now trying to move with the basketball. Cadeau, gotta go. Cadeau, good pass inside. Mara gets the bunny to go. 2 seconds. 1. Sturts for about 68 feet. And he airballs it, and that'll take us to halftime. So halftime in the Heartland, and we've got a good one in the Big Ten. The number 3 team in the land, Michigan, in a fight with Iowa. But as everybody that follows this sport and follows Michigan knows, the second half is where Dusty May's team more than often shines. 30 all at the half. We cut the mics off. We'll be back with a halftime score rush. This is as you follow this college basketball watch along. 30-30. The halftime score between Michigan and Iowa at the Big Ten regular season, the finale, or the penultimate Big Ten game of the season for both these teams before the conference tournaments begin. Conference tournament in the Big Ten's case begins. 30-30 between Michigan and Iowa. Seth Eaves back with you here. Let's get you caught up on what is happening across these United States on this night, men's and women's basketball. And again, a lot of conference tournament scores coming your way. There is one other men's top 25 game going on tonight. Halftime in East Lansing, number 8 Michigan State, who Michigan plays on Sunday in the regular season finale, is up 31-30 on Rutgers. That's the score in that particular game. Again, that's the score at that game at the present time. So that's what's happening in that one. Let's go now to some other conference tournament action. Let's go to some other conference tournament scores across college basketball. Men's basketball conference tournaments. Again, just bear with me as I do this. Let's go. West Coast Conference opening round of the West Coast Conference men's tournament will get started in a matter of minutes with Pepperdine against Portland, and then another first-round game later tonight with San Diego playing Loyola Marymount. Patriot League, top-seeded Navy was in a struggle for a good chunk of the night. In fact, they were actually down 3 at halftime at home against 10-22 Bucknell. But the midshipmen have rallied. They're trying to make the dance for the first time since 1998. They're taking another step, it would appear. 6 seconds to go. Navy 74, Bucknell 67. 2 finals from the Patriot League quarterfinals. Colgate advances with their 18th win of the year. A 90-77 triumph over Loyola of Maryland. 21 points and 11 assists for Jalen Cox. And Boston U advances with a 75-73 win over American. One other game still in progress. 1:29 to go. Holy Cross on top of Lehigh, 64-62. So the Patriot League Final Four for Sunday will be set once that Holy Cross and Lehigh game finishes. Sunbelt, the ladder tournament, if you will. 2 third-round games, 1 in the books. Southern Miss got 31 points from Tyleek Weeks to keep their season alive with an 86-80 win over James Madison. The other game of the night is just underway. 15:55 to go first half. Georgia Southern leads Arkansas State by a score of 10-8. Arch Madness getting underway for the Missouri Valley in St. Louis. Drake won the first game of the day, 67-63 over Southern Illinois. Second game of the day, 2:16 to go. Indiana State and Valparaiso, even at 62. Third game of the night starts around 9:30 or thereabouts. Evansville versus Northern Iowa. That should be an interesting one there. MAAC, that's what I call it. They call it the MAC. The Northeast version of the MAC. How about that? In Atlantic City, Iona, usually a threat to win that tournament. They won't be this year, though. They're done in the first round, beaten by Sacred Heart, 91-80. Other first-round game, 10 minutes to go first half. Fairfield on top of Manhattan, 18-11. Summit League tournament in Sioux Falls. North Dakota State, the top seed, leads Oral Roberts 75-64 with a minute 24 to go. St. Thomas, the number 2 seed, will take on South Dakota State in the other game later this evening. Ohio Valley tournament, Eastern Illinois had the big upset last night. Doesn't look like they're going to get it tonight. 16 seconds to go. They trail 63-58 against UT Martin. Lindenwood and SEMO, the game later tonight in the 9:30 window. So that's what's happening in conference tournament land. Again, I've mentioned this before on other streams, on other watch-alongs. It's just a hell of a time, isn't it? I hope Matthews watches so we can pay attention and get this potentially clipped. It's one hell of a month, ain't it? Or isn't it? proper English police might be at my backside. All right, let's go women's college basketball. This is the week where most of the women's college basketball conferences are having power conferences are having their conference tournaments. So, women's tournament action. Big Ten women's tournament, second round, 3 games in the books today. Number 11 team in the land, Ohio State, blew out Indiana 83-59. Upset today, though. Illinois knocked off Michigan State 71-69, despite a 30-point effort from the Spartans' Kennedy Blair. And in the all-West Coast second round game, and a game that was played at 9 a.m. local time for both, Washington got a season-high 25 from El Ladine. They get a 76-64 win over USC. Oregon and Maryland will start momentarily the final game of the night in Indianapolis. In Greenville, day 2 of the SEC tournament. Some of you heard what may have watched this stream earlier today in the SEC. Oklahoma, number 7 in the country. How good is the SEC in women's basketball, you could argue? Oklahoma's the 5 seed and had to play today in the SEC tournament, yet they're ranked 7th in the latest poll. Sooners had no problem. They beat Florida 82-64, 18 for Reagan Beers. The 8-9 game was a battle between teams ranked 17th and 22nd. What a day for Kentucky's Clara Strack. 33 points. Cats win 76-61. They get another shot at South Carolina for giving them fits to end the regular season. And Ole Miss also advancing into the quarterfinals with a 73-57 win over Auburn. Again, if you're just joining us, you're wondering, what these sound familiar? This doesn't sound right. These are women's scores. These are women's scores. One game going on right now in the 25-18. Alabama leads Tennessee. So again, 25-18 Alabama, that game early in the second quarter against Tennessee. And of course, Tennessee, as everyone knows, has been dealing with their own issues in the women's basketball program. And it's one of the premier programs that's fallen on hard times. Big 12 women's tournament today. What a win by Kansas State in the Big 12 women's tournament. They end the game on a 21-0 run to knock off number 21 Texas Tech 58-51. Also today, Arizona State over Iowa State, 77-68. Is Audi Crooks going to miss the dance? Cyclones, they are a team that's on the bubble for some in that department. Gabby Elliott was the star for ASU, though. 22 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists. BYU defeated Utah 70-52, kept their NCAA hopes alive, and ended the hopes of their hated rivals. Kansas and Colorado, another important game. That comes your way later. That'll be later tonight. Day 2 of the ACC women's tournament. Clemson, if they weren't in the tournament before, they certainly are now. They beat Virginia 63-50. Notre Dame got 28 from Hannah Hidalgo. They beat Miami 69-54. Syracuse beat Cal 70-59. Virginia Tech leads Georgia Tech 50-46 in the late third quarter in that tournament. MAAC women's tournament, 2 first-round games today. It was Sacred Heart, a 47-34 winner over St. Peter's, and Manhattan 64, Marist 55. A 10 women's tournament today in Glen Allen, Virginia. Finals, Loyola Chicago over St. Bonaventure 61-59. St. Joe's 66, Duquesne 45. Dayton 62, GW 54. At the end of the third, LaSalle leads St. Louis 42-35. Sunbelt, South Alabama 69-59 over Texas State. UL Monroe beat Southern Miss 89-72. West Coast Conference Women's Tournament. Sorry for some behind the scenes stuff. West Coast Conference Women's first round action today. Washington State, a winner for just the 8th time this year. They blew out Seattle 80-58, and San Diego beat St. Mary's 66-62. SoCon Women's Tournament, no trouble for top seeded Chattanooga. They beat Western Carolina 66-47. It was ETSU over UNCG 62-50. Samford upset Wofford 59-57. Furman 66, Mercer 45. Semifinals there set for tomorrow. Furman, Chattanooga, and Samford against ETSU. Big South Women's Tournament, like the SoCon, no trouble for the top seed. It was High Point beating USC Upstate 71-53. Winthrop moves on with a 64-52 win over Gardner-Webb. It was Radford 86, Charleston Southern 67. Great performance by Joy Williams. She had 31. The final quarterfinal is in the second quarter. It's Longwood up 21-12 on UNC Asheville. High Point Winthrop will be one semi. The UNC Asheville Longwood winner will get Radford. Plenty of other women's basketball tournaments going on across the country today as well. We kind of got the basics covered of that as we are about ready for the second half of this one between Michigan and Iowa. 30-30 the score between the Wolverines and the Hawkeyes, and Iowa with 16 points off of 12 Michigan turnovers. And it's a 30-30 game here in the second half. We're going to have, like I said, an interesting second half here because we know Iowa's going to try to muck up a little bit, but at the same time, we know Michigan in the second half of games. So away we go. Holmes drives. Johnson, the rebound. Michigan going right to left of the blue uniforms. Iowa going left to right in the white. 30-30 game inside, and Michigan were the big man scoring there, 32-30. James Breeding, Earl Walton, Bart Lennox, by the way, are the officials for this game. Just now getting that. Man away with it here. Manial for Iowa. Now back to Sturts. Sturts now to Cook. Cook. And Banks inside, no good, but a foul. 2-point lead for the Michigan Wolverines early in this second half as they play against Iowa. As you are tuned into this college basketball watch-along, we most certainly appreciate your support. Sturts for three. Got it. Sturts a triple in Iowa. Back to the lead at 33-32. There's a whistle and a foul. Sturts went for the poke. One-point lead for Iowa. Cadeau, kick out. Lindeborg a 3. That one's good. Michigan back on top as Lindeborg hits the 3. 35-33. Michigan on top. Off the foot of Cook. Now over to Banks. Banks now gets it over to Sturts. Sturts now to Manial. Sturts. Manial on a drive. Manial had it rejected. Good work, Johnson inside. Michigan up the floor. Mara! Couldn't finish it that time. Ball still loose. Johnson a tip that didn't go. Loose, and Iowa comes out of the pack with it. Sturts on the right wing. Now back over to Manial. Sturts on the right wing. Sturts, step back 3. No. Rebound, Mara. Long pass, Lindeborg. Johnson, a break. Johnson, unmolested to the basket with an easy 2. Well, everybody was all over the place, and the seas parted for Johnson to put it in. It's a 5-0 Michigan run. Here is Combs. Combs with 16 to shoot. Combs on a drive. Combs got it. 37-35, and a quick timeout taken here. Not sure by who. Yes, it's that it was taken by Iowa. But 37-35, Michigan on top. Again, Michigan. Even if Michigan does lose its remaining games, they do lose tonight. They lose to Michigan State at the tournament. More than likely, Dusty May's team at this point has done enough to earn a #1 seed in the NCAA tournament. When you look at all the big wins that they've amassed, and then in this modern analytical day and age, you look at the metrics in terms of how they're winning games, all the 30 and 40 plus points wins they have, and the big wins they have against, some of the better teams on the schedule. They beat a TCU team who now, you had to think, nailed down a tournament spot the other night. They beat Auburn by 30. I know Auburn's been the source of a lot of controversy, but they beat Gonzaga, who's a top-level team. They beat them by 40. They beat a Villanova team who's going to the tournament 89-61. They beat USC by 30. Looking at other teams that are either on the bubble or close to it. They beat Indiana by 14. They beat Ohio State by 12. They beat Nebraska. They won by double digits at Michigan State. They won by 21 in Columbus against teams that are either on the bubble or currently are going to be locked in the tournament. They put up 91 in that 11-point win at Purdue. They really dominated start to finish. They won by 30 against UCLA. They won by 14 at Illinois. And the 2 losses aren't bad. Wisconsin, surprising maybe, but it's not like they are a terrible team. And then, of course, you have that win and then loss to Duke, which, of course, there's no shame in that. And, of course, Michigan Grand Road, 9-0 on the road. The last Big Ten team that went undefeated on the road in conference play. This is quite the omen for Michigan fans. Older Michigan fans may not like the memory, but the omen might be there. It was the 1976 Indiana team, who, of course, as you know, is the last undefeated team to go undefeated in a season in Division I men's basketball history. The reason I say that might be a sore spot is because for older folks, because Indiana beat Michigan in the championship game that year. Here is Cadeau. Michigan up by a deuce. Cadeau kicks it out. Here's Lindeborg, left corner 3, good. Yaxel Lindeborg knocks down another 3. 6-3 of the night for Michigan. The lead's back at 5. Combs on the move. Combs now over to Sturts. Sturts in the paint. Sturts left it short. Rebound, Michigan, Burnett. Now here is Cadeau. Lindeborg. 8-2 run for Michigan. Mara left block. Mara, surely that's a walk. I was going to say. Not that I'm biased either way, but, I mean, the rules of basketball that I'm familiar with tell me that's a walk. By the way, talk about how good Michigan is rebounding. They have doubled Iowa up in the rebounding battle. 24-12 is the rebound edge in this one. 5-point lead for Michigan. Iowa with the basketball. Oh, off the hands of Sturts. Here's Gale. Euro step and a layup. Good job, Roddy Gale. First point off turnovers for Michigan tonight. Lead at 7, and this is not danger zone, but this is be careful time if you're Iowa. Combs. Manuel back to Fulgaris. Fulgaris in the lane. Good extra interior pass to Manuel, who finishes with a bucket. Good work by Manuel. Each team now with 18 points in the paint in this one. Lindeborg now over to Burnett. Johnson and foul. I had gotten Manuel for that one. So a 42-37 Michigan lead. Of course, another thing that Michigan's having to fight for this season, from a reputation perspective, there are 2 droughts. One drought that they're having to overcome with themselves, and another with their conference. Michigan, of course, has not won the championship since 1989. And the Big Ten, it just every year this gets crazy with all the good teams the Big Ten produces on a year-in and year-out basis. It is hard to believe it's been since the year 2000 since that league produced a national champion. Tom Izzo's only championship at Michigan State with the Flintstones, as they were known. No, not Fred, Barney, Betty, and Wilma. More like Mateen Cleaves and Morris Peterson and Charlie Bell from Flint, Michigan. That's the last time a Big Ten team won the national championship. Big Ten teams have made the championship game since then. They've gotten close as far as at least getting to Monday night. Indiana in 2002. They lost to Maryland. Maryland, of course, in the ACC, so no Big Ten. That does not count as a Big Ten championship. That great Illinois team in 2005, they fell short at the last hurdle against Sean May, Raymond Felton, and that veteran North Carolina squad. Ohio State with the Thad 5. Greg Oden lost to Florida 2007, 2009. Michigan State got to the championship, lost to North Carolina. Michigan has twice gotten to the championship game in that span. Lost in 2013 to Louisville, then 5 years later beaten by Villanova. Wisconsin also lost the title in 2015 to Duke University. That was another one where the Big Ten came out just short. And, of course, the Big Ten came out just short 2 years ago when Purdue lost to UConn. A lot of other good teams that were just inexplicably beaten in earlier rounds along the way. But Michigan, it feels like, could very well break that drought. But Iowa has given them fits tonight. And maybe a bit of a blueprint for some teams. Obviously, they have 2 losses. Yaxel Lindeberg, 400 points, 200 rebounds, and 40 blocks at major conference schools this year. He's one of only 5 that's done it. JT Toppin at Texas Tech. St. John's is Juby Ejiofor. Alex Condon of Florida and Flory Badunga of Kansas. Here is a lob and a catch. Johnson, no good, but there is a foul on Iowa. So they drew up a pretty good lob play out of the break. Here's the inbound from Gale, and a great job by Johnson. So Johnson at the free throw line makes the first one. Johnson, a 79% free throw shooter on the year. 9.7 rebounds tonight. Misses the second. Rebound Iowa, a 6-point game. Cook now over to Sturts. Sturts. Manuel back to Sturts. 3 seconds left. Sturts hits the shot. Here is Johnson. Thrown away, tipped. They're going to say tipped on the way through, and it's Michigan basketball. We'll still have 13 on the shot clock to operate. And they're going to review this, as you would imagine. Let's see. Johnson. Burnett's claiming it was tipped. Ooh, you know, on the one hand, there's no indisputable evidence to overturn, but the way I see it, I don't know how you could tell from the angles that Banks got a hand on it. But you got to have indisputable evidence to reverse the call on the court. However, it looks as if Iowa's going to get this ball back. And indeed it is. I was going to say, did not look like from that angle that Banks touched it. And the officials notice it, and you know what? I get it. Nobody likes reviews. I get it, but you know what? Important plays, games like this, you want to make sure you get the calls right. Credit to the guys in the stripes. They got it. They did a good job right there. Look to inbound. Iowa down by 4. They've made their last 3 from the field. Here is Sturts. Sturts with 18 to shoot. Now Cook. Cook for 3. Rims out. Fighting for the loose ball. Still loose. Burnett on the deck. We're going to get a whistle here at 14-13 to play. Foul on Burnett. That's his second. That's what it was. Inside. Fulgaris the layup. And Iowa within 2. Crowd rises as one again. Berkey's getting them pumped up. Gale. Lindenberg a 3. Got to McKinney a 3. No. Rebound Iowa. Howard. Fulgaris. Sturts, 18 to shoot. Now finds Banks. Banks, kick out. On the drive. Look out! Howard! Isaiah Howard with a hammer drop. Timeout, Michigan. Even at 43. My goodness. And the Carver Hawkeye crowd very much on its feet. And listen, these people stormed the court when they beat highly ranked Nebraska a few weeks ago. You don't think they're going to storm the court for beating the Big Ten regular season champs and a national title contender to nail down a tournament bid? You got another thing coming. That's a long way now. Lindenberg foul by Banks. Each team, by the way, now with 2 timeouts left. Let me fix that thing. So 13-12 to go. Banks picks up his 3rd foul. McKinney. Now over to Lindenborg. Lindenborg with 12. Mara. Now it's Lindenborg and a foul on Iowa. That comes with 9 on the shot clock. Big Ten tournament, of course, next week in Chicago. Michigan already is locked in to the number 1 seed for that tournament. And that foul was on Banks. So now he's got 4. My gosh. Now another whistle. Another stoppage at 12:57. Michigan, one of 3 teams that have already clinched their seed for the tournament. In a difference to last year, all 18 teams inside and a turnover Michigan are going to the tournament this year. 2 other teams have clinched their seeding. Indiana will be the 10 seed, and Penn State with the 18 seed. 15 Michigan turnovers. I'll get to the Iowa seeding in just a minute. 43 apiece. Iowa trying to take the lead. Right now, Iowa would be the 9 seed in the tournament. Sturts over to Cook. Sturts, floater, good! And 1! Iowa back in front. $15 for Sturts, and now a chance to add to it at the line. Sturts makes the free throw, a 3-point game. 9-0 Iowa run has given them this 3-point lead. How does Michigan respond? They almost always have an answer, it seems. Lindenborg. Knifes in. Foul before the basket. Michigan bench wanted continuation. They will not get it. Just the 16th foul. It wasn't in the act of shooting, so the inbounds pass to Lindenborg. Fouled again. That time it was the 7th, so now 1-1 for the 82% free throw shooter, the All-America candidate, Axel Lindenborg. 29 points in a game at Maryland earlier this year. He has 7 games where he has 10-plus rebounds and 24 games of 5-plus. Makes the front end of the 1-1. course, a two-time American Conference Defensive Player of the Year with UAB. Get the tournament in 2024. Has only played organized basketball for 5 years. Second free throw is also good. And Michigan back to within one as we approach 12 minutes to play. Nine-2 run for Iowa. Sturts. Gets it over to Sage. Now finds Fulgaris. To Sturts, who's met at the rim by Lindeborg. Yaxel Lindeborg driving. Looks for help. Cheddar a three. No. Merrick with a rebound up stuff. And the Spaniard puts Michigan back on top. Sturts. Now over to Fulgaris. Fulgaris now flips it to Sturts. Sage. Sage inside. Sage scores. Back and forth we go here. Iowa now back in front. Cadeau. Now Mara. Now back to Cadeau. Cadeau and a foul. That'll lead to a stoppage. 10:48 to go. And a 48-47 Iowa lead. What a game. This has been a good one. By the way, Lehigh apparently hit a half-court shot at the buzzer to beat Holy Cross. (48-47) the lead for Iowa. And this Iowa crowd really starting to get involved. They lead by a score of 48-47. One-point game, 10:48 left. Elliot Cadeau at the free throw line. Front end of a 1-and-1 is no good. Out of bounds, off of Mara. He thought it came off Fulgaris. It did not. Cheddar wants to look at it. The referee might just look at it. off of, let's see. Boy, from that angle, it looks like it comes off Fulgaris. Mara looking over at the bench to make sure this call there. Too bad JT's not with us. He can give us the under review button. And wow, so the appeal successful. And from this angle, that's a clear. We just got another angle. That does look like it comes off of Fulgaris. So it's Michigan ball with 10:48 to play. Mara now to Cadeau. Cadeau lob, and Mara the stuff. Michigan back to the lead. Howard with it now. Howard now over to Fulgaris. Sage on the right wing. Now Fulgaris. Fulgaris pass picked off, tipped and stolen by Cadeau. And then Cadeau takes a tumble. Howard with the foul. .15 to go. 1 point lead for the Wolverines. Go back at the free throw line. This will be another 1-and-1 situation. Makes the front end. Made them both. 10:15 to go. Michigan up by 3. Iowa needing this one. They're not out of the NCAA tournament. They lose this game by any stretch, but a win like this probably would make them feel pretty safe. Not to be Joe Tessitore from a couple of years ago at a certain football game, but God, it would feel like that they would pretty much be in the field lockstep if they could win this game. Howard, no. Rebound, Mara. Michigan up the floor now. McKinney. Mara now over to Lindeborg. Lindeborg now looks for some help. Lindeborg drives. No, but he's fouled. To the line he goes. Michigan at the line here. And I was starting to rack up foul trouble. Banks 4, Maniel 4, Howard 3, Combs 3. So here is Lindeborg. Oh, friendly roll. And another coming. Missed the second. Cheddar, though, with the tip, and that somehow that didn't go. Sturts now for Iowa. Sturts. Sage now over to Sturts. 3:20, just 2 points in that stretch for Iowa. Sturts. Sage for 3. Brick. Rebound McKinney. McKinney now with the basketball. Iowa now 5 of 18 from 3 in this game. Cadeau on the drive. Long cross-court pass to Shetter. Extra pass McKinney. McKinney on a drive. Now, kind of plays a wraparound game. Gives it up to Cadeau. Cadeau lost it out of bounds. Who touched it last? Michigan did. Iowa staying tough defensively. 16 turnovers for Michigan. Iowa with just 4. And it's got to be frustrating from an Iowa fan perspective to think, okay, we forced them into 16 turnovers. We have them at home. They're playing their B game at best, and yet we're still trailing. Just shows you about how effective this team is. Banks. Sturts for 3 on the right wing. He's got it. Sturts buries one, and Iowa back to within 1. 19 for Bennett Sturts. Here is Cadeau for Michigan. Cadeau gives it inside. Johnson. Oh, nice move. Inside. Morez Johnson Jr. muscling his way in for 2 more points. Sturts. Banks. Missed the bunny. McCullum wants a foul. He's incensed. Cadeau the other way. Good pass inside. And Johnson with 2 more. And just like that, the Michigan lead now back at 5. Fulgaris gives it to Sturts. Sturts puts up the shot, in and out. Rebound, Michigan, Cadeau, and then a foul. That'll lead to a stoppage. 7:14 left. Michigan up by 5. Man. So it's going to be a close range. Can Michigan pull away and finish the job, or will Iowa find a way? (56-51). We've mentioned before a couple of times that Michigan plays their final game of the season Sunday against Michigan State. Iowa has to go to Nebraska to end the regular season. So here we go. Ready to resume play. Ade Mara, 8 points, 3 blocks. Stepping up when he has to. Big dunks. Elliot Cadeau at the free throw line. First free throw, good from Cadeau. Another coming. So 58 to 51. Michigan, and Burnett committed that foul, by the way. That's number 3 on Damari Burnett. Banks lays it in. And he got fouled as well, or did he? I think he did, yeah. 58-53. 7 minutes to play. That foul by on Burnett. That's 4. But he missed the free throw. And a rebound, Michigan. 5-point game, 6:46 left. And inside, and there's 2 more Michigan points. 28 points in the paint, both ways. Amazing stuff happening here. 7-point game. Bulgaris, Cook 3. They need it, they don't get it. The rebound scooped out of the air by Mara. Now it's Johnson. Underneath, puts it in and 1. What was that we were talking about with Michigan and how they can come at you in waves and how they can go in the second half? If they make this free throw, this lead suddenly is 10. And it also shows you how good of a team that Duke University has. That they did not wilt. We might see those 2 again in Indianapolis, either on a Saturday or a Monday. Lindebor. Got it. 10-point game. Ten-point game. 6 minutes to go. Iowa needs bucket. Banks inside, no good, but he's fouled. That is Cadeau. Foul on Cadeau. That's number 2. Play resumes. This is Iowa with the basketball here. Down by 10. They've got to pull something out. Howard. Wrap around. Sturts. That's a good fake. Sturts it off balance. 3. Lay off the mark. Manuel the rebound. Gives it back to Howard. Manuel. Sturts. Howard for 3. Oh my goodness. Off the glass, it bounced around a couple of times and somehow it went. Sure, Iowa doesn't care. They need the 3. 7-point game. 5:07 to go. Cadeau. Lindeborg's runner. Rebound, and now here comes Michigan. Is there gonna be or Iowa? Here comes Iowa, the rally. Is there gonna be a rally? Starts off balance. Good, but a foul. That first free throw is good. Lead now at 6. Second one good. 5-point game. 4:44 left. Hang on, everybody. It's March. Even in the regular season ending, you can feel it. What a stuff at the rim! Manuel denies Johnson. Howard the other way. On the block, inside. Banks. 15 to shoot. Banks in trouble. Banks puts it in. 3-point game with 4:10 to play. A 7-0 Iowa run. The Hawkeyes are not wilting. Won't waste time. Burnett Cadeau finally picks it up. He didn't touch the ball originally because he wanted to waste some time. And now Dusty May is going to take a timeout, and I think that's not the worst idea. Into the stretch we go. 3:63. 3:53 remaining in this one.
This huge shot.
Whoa, what happened? Three-point lead for Michigan. $63 to $60. Can Michigan finish here? Or will Iowa pull off a massive, massive win? Again, their net's 26. The wins above bubble rank 37. The numbers are solid. They have 3 quad 1 wins. At Washington, for some reason, is listed as a quad 1 win. You do you, Nat. Quad 1 and quad 2, 10 and 8. And actually, quad 3 and 4 losses, it's only 1. But of course, anybody to the naked eye will tell you Maryland and Penn State count as 2 bad losses. I mean, this is wild. So Cadeau at the line, and he makes it, so it was a foul. I thought it was a timeout. Evidently, it was not. So let me give Michigan a timeout back. Cadeau 69% on the year, as I mentioned, but 9 of 10 tonight. He has just been absolutely amazing, but he missed that one. He missed that one. Iowa ball down by 4. "7-1 Iowa run. Sturts with the basketball. Sturts now flips it back. Howard, now it Sturts. Howard for 3. Way off. Mara gets the rebound. Michigan having a little bit of trouble here. Mara. And Mara walked. 3:18 to go. .318. Here is Sturts for 3. Won't go, but they get the offensive rebound, Iowa. Sturts. It's Howard. Now over to Sturts. Howard, a left wing 3. No good. Came back to Sturts, though, on a long rebound. Sage. Sturts, right wing. Banks is fouled. 2:41 to go. Believe they're going to get Mara. Believe they're going to get Mara for that one. So here's the free throw. Banks makes the first. I did it again. That yellow is confusing me. Or should I say the maze is just it's giving me all flustered up. It's like Wally Dallenbach, just covered up. Oh no! What? Second free throw good. 2-point game. Folks, it's a game again. 2:32 to go. Iowa not backing down. Mara. Lindeborg. Lindeborg drives. No. Mara's putback dunk didn't go either. But they call a foul on Iowa. Well then. Well, they called an offensive foul. Okay then. So it's Iowa ball with a chance to tie or take the lead. Incredible drama. Sturts. Nearing the 2-minute mark. Manuel. Sturts. Manuel! Oh, man, wow! Even at 64 on the stuff from Cam Manuel. Cadeau on the drive. Cadeau now to Lindeborg. Lindeborg. Left wing. Lindeborg in trouble. 3 to shoot. Mara. 1. Mara fires. Oh, he baked it in. Hold on a minute. Was the shot clock buzzer off before he got it? They're going to look at it. Oh, my word. I think he got that off before it rang out. That should count. That should count, and that should be Michigan up 2 with 82 seconds left. And they have given Michigan the basket. "12 points, 8 rebounds, 3 blocks. Michigan and both teams with 2 timeouts. Sturts with the basketball now, has it. He moves over. Sturts driving. Sturts now over to Sage, 11 to shoot. Sage down to 9. Sturts 7. Sturts now over to Howard. 3 seconds. Bounce pass inside. Got it. Manuel ties the game. Timeout. Not sure who took it. Iowa did. Incredible. Well, what do we say all the time around here? If you follow the old platform, you've seen me and Matthew. You know who Matthew Owens is. You know about me a little bit. Y'all know all about what I'm about to say. Third month, best month. So 52 seconds left. So we're about ready to go. 52 seconds. It puts a time on the clock. 52 seconds. A tie game. And it's going to be Lindeborg to inbound. Michigan 3 points in the last 5:26. A great Iowa fight. Lob. There's Mara. And they can't stop it. The lob to Mara has been Michigan's best play when they've decided to run it. It works there. And with 43 seconds left, Michigan back up a deuce. And a quick timeout by Dusty May. Two-point game. 43 seconds left. Iowa fans hoping 43 seconds to go. Two-point game. Each team with a timeout left. What a great one it's been here. Thanks to those of you that have decided to tune in and follow this watch along here tonight. So 43 seconds. They get it into starts. Iowa down 2. 13-second difference between game and shot clock. Sturts on the drive. Sturts floater. No. Ball tipped around. Maniau got it. Rejected by Gale. And Gale gets it. And Michigan ball with 23 seconds. Gale Jr. with the big time block. And Michigan preserves its lead with 23 seconds to go. My goodness. What an important play. Michigan just took its last timeout. 23 seconds left. Their lead is 2. Trying to get to a remarkable 18-1 in the conference and trying to finish the Big Ten season undefeated on the road. Champaign, West Lafayette, Columbus, Eugene, Seattle. They've conquered them all. Is Iowa City the final notch? Are they going to claim it, or is it going to be over? "23 seconds left with the shot clock off. You got to think Iowa will try to foul immediately. And here it goes. Cadeau to inbound. Has to get it in. No timeouts. Dangerous pass. Traveling. A travel on Michigan. Johnson took a step. 18th Michigan turnover. Iowa with a timeout left is going to have a chance to tie or win it. 20 seconds. Here we go. It's into the hands of Sturts. 16 seconds. Sturts on the right wing. Sturts drives, bobbled it a little bit. Banks with 9. Banks lost it. It's Michigan ball. Banks lost it. Oh my. Oh, merciful heaven. Yep, plain as day, slipped out of the hands of Tavian Banks. Well, now Gale did swipe at it, but did Gale make contact with it? I think they're going to take a look at this, and why not? See, from one angle, it looks like the ball just slipped out of Banks' hand, but from another, it looks like Gale makes an attempt to swat it and gets a slight bit of contact on it. This is... Boy, is this intense. Let's see, now whose ball is it? That is the question here. And who's... missed the announcement. So who gets the ball? They put some extra time as well. It is Michigan ball. You know Iowa's going to guard the inbounder. Cadeau. Long pass. Lindenberg the catch. Now he's fouled. Two-point game, 7 seconds. Two big free throws here. If Lindenberg can hit them, Michigan will get out of Dodge. What would be a massive, massive victory. Makes the first. Now, here comes the second, and this one is massive. Missed it! Fight for the loose ball. Rebound Iowa, and a timeout. Either a foul or a timeout, as Sage got it. 4 seconds left. I think it's a foul, which is the perfect, thing if you're Michigan. Sage, a 70% free throw shooter. Sage, a 70% free throw shooter. It's the 1-and-1. He makes the front end. 2-point game with 4 seconds. Sage makes the second. No timeouts, Michigan. Iowa's got to put some pressure on. And Michigan, for a long pass, hope you catch it, and you get in. There's Lindenborg, and Lindenborg is fouled immediately. 4 seconds to go. 3.9. That's Manial's 5th. He had a great game tonight. He only averages 7 a game, Manial, but against one of the best front lines in the United States, he more than held his own. A great showing for Cam Manial tonight. So Lindenborg back in the line. 1 out of 2 last time. 4 seconds left. Lindenborg with 2 massive free throws coming up. Dusty May having a brief chat with the official. Just wanted to make sure about some things. No harm, no foul. Lindenberg's first. Good. Nothing but net. 2-point Michigan lead. Now the second free throw coming. Lindenberg's second. Rims in. Iowa, 3 seconds. Here Sturts, 2, 1. Sturts fires! Off the rim, no! Michigan conquers the Big Ten on the road. The Road Warriors have done it again. They hang on and win it 71-68. Wow, what a game. What a game. Not the worst shot in the world from Sturts. It just didn't fall. Michigan wins on the road. So now it's Sparty, then the Big Ten tournament, and then the big dance. What a game. So there it is. Michigan a winner, 71-68. You see the score right there. What a performance. For everyone here, I'm Seth Eaves. Thank you so much for watching this college basketball watch-along. What a night in the Big Ten. It's March, everybody. There's more where that came from, I promise you.